What's up, everyone? My name's Lionel, and I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. Today, we are covering returning series Beauty in Black. It's currently streaming on Netflix. This is season 3. I'm going to be covering episodes 1 and 2. I think I'm going to be able to fit it on one, but if not, you know where to find me. Anyways, I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. You can also subscribe and leave your comments below. Now let's get into these episodes. All right, y'all. So I like the show. Hopefully you like the show. I know it gets a lot of flack. I don't care. It's pretty good. And I'm very interested to see what's happening. I haven't really gone ahead to watch any of the other episodes. So when I watch them, I'm going to record again. So you'll get a better, fresh feeling from me as far as how I am reacting to whatever's happening in the scenes or on the episode. All right, so episode 1, season 3. Oh, did you guys hear that Beauty in Black, they've been renewed for another season? This was supposed to be their last season. Now, that is so great. I'm happy. I'm glad it's going to be around. This is probably one of Tyler Perry's first series that was, if you want to call it limited in what you see more in the literal world. As far as with television, they usually get one season. But I guess you could still call it a limited series. But you know, Tyler Perry's series go for years and years and years and years and years. So, anyways, congratulations to the cast and crew and to Mr. Tyler Perry. All right. So, of course, we left off last season, which was in March of this year when it aired, with most of the Belleries being arrested. They're taking Jules, Norman, and Olivia and Roy. The only one out of that group that didn't get arrested, of course, Mallory's not getting arrested. Horace, Kimmy, and Charles. And of course, they don't understand. Well, Charles didn't understand why he wasn't getting arrested. However, he was grateful of all of that. Olivia is struggling. She's kind of being a little bit of the comedic relief because she's like, hold on, don't tussle with me. Don't you see that my knee and leg is hurting right now? And then she warns Charles, if you don't get this money for me by Friday, we're going to open up another investigation on you. You may not be in jail now, but I'm going to get your tail there. So you better do right by me. Rain is back at Horace's home, well, their home. And Angel's blasting music like he ain't got a care in the world. And Rain come up in there, why you got this music going on? You ain't learned your lesson yet. Angel don't care. And Rain said he going to put you out. He still don't have no care. But anyway, she announces to Angel that she's going to be running the club. And she's going over there now. And he said, that deadbeat whack club? She said, yeah. We're going to turn it around into something else. And he said, well, when he puts you out, Horace, you're going to be right back at the club with me. Back at the office, Horace, Mallory, Kimmy, and Barney, they gather in, I think, Horace's office. And there's relief and also tension. And the tension is coming from Kimmy because it's all over. But Kimmy just feels like it's too easy. I probably feel that way too because I always just kind of wondering if everything is going to work out as it's supposed to. It's kind of this what if type of scenarios that do go through your mind. Norman said, or not Norman, Horace said, I knew I picked the right person. You think like me. It's not the fact that it didn't happen or whatnot, but are there any loose ends? Are there any cracks in all of this that anything can come back and backfire on us? Norman said, Horace said that, you know, Norman can be quite indecent, but at the same time, he can be quite intelligent. And he does have influence. So I understand your way of thinking in this whole thing, but I think everything's pretty much handled. And then, because he did say, somebody said it's a tight case. There's not much wiggle room to get themselves out of this situation. Horace gonna say, speaking of tight, then he goes into, Roy told me that you and my son, now he didn't come right out and say it, but they've been, and of course at this point, but anyways, he just ended up saying, yeah, me and them have been sleeping together. Horace don't like it. And at this point, he's saying, you disgust me, even though he wants men. Himself. Barney's like, I'm sorry. And then Horace was like, for what? Barney said, you should have known, meaning I shouldn't have lied to your face. At this point, Barney is ushered out of the room, I think with Mallory at this point. Kimmy and Horace are talking a little bit, and she's just telling him, it's not as bad as you think it is, They both grown and all of that. And of course, he said, he basically was saying, I didn't ask you all that. At this point, Charles comes in, and I think we can talk about that now. He doesn't want to talk to Charles. Kimmy makes him talk to Charles. He's just sitting there looking at him in disgust, Horace is, and Charles he says, don't you want to know what I want? And basically he says no. But he begins to open up about Mom wanting to open up an investigation because I need money. What did you do? He don't want to say anything about it, but want the money. And then Horace just cuts to the chase. Are you effing my attorney? Charles says yes. Then he says, how long? How long? And then Charles says 11, 12 inches. And then he said, don't play with me. He sticks out his cane. My God, Charles. Charles says, what is the big deal? I'm gay. Da, 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 da. Of course, he's sickened by that once again. So anyways, he's like, will you be able to give me the money? And Dad said, no. Well, what am I going to do? I got to have it by Friday. You're SOL. And I think at this point, Horace goes out of the room, leaves his office. Down outside of the Beauty in Black, Alex is sitting there, and he sees all the Belleries, some of the Belleries coming out. He's on the phone with Traxon. And says, you got to get here because now I see that they're getting arrested. Traxon gets there, and he talks to Julius. Alex and Jules had an exchange. Basically, you sold me out. I got you. And Traxon was talking with Jules alone. Well, not alone, but more of his own conversation because Alex is hearing. And he said, where am I at? Oh, Jules says to Traxon, handle that. And then Alex said, well, what does he mean by all that? Oh, yeah, Jules tells Alex, you've done enough. Okay, yeah, sorry. So what happened after the Belleries came out, the ones that are going to jail? Jules saw Alex and said, you've done enough. And Alex is a little bit perplexed. Traxon gets there. Jules is getting to the car. And Jules tells Traxon, you know what to do. And of course, at this point, Alex, when they get into the car, Alex asks Traxon, what does he mean? He said, I got something I got to handle. Now they're going upstairs, and they're in the elevator, and then Traxon said, you effing betrayed me. And Alex was like, what? No, I didn't. What are you talking about? At this point, it's on site with Traxon, and then he starts trying to beat on Alex. Of course, Alex can fight and all that. Traxon pulls out a knife, ends up stabbing him on his right side. At the same time, the elevator is breaking down, literally. I don't know if it's just the old elevator or what. So at some point after Traxon did stab Alex, he somehow wound upon the floor, and Alex just went, whoa, whoa, to him. And he ended up forcing the doors open because the elevator was falling, free falling. But it got stuck in between floors, and he was able to get out. Now, at the police precinct, where they have everyone go to the room where possibly the confession room, and that the cops are looking at you through a glass or unseen through a window. Of course, everyone within the group, Olivia, Norman, Jules, and Roy, they're trying to find out what's up, and they're going to see who is the weakest link. They're looking at us. And then they go and turn and look at Roy. He's like, you think I'm weak? Yes, Roy, yes. Of course they're coming towards you. to get you. um, Roy figures that they're going to put the fall on him. And he said, "Oh, you ain't putting it on me. I am going to going to flip on you guys." He later talks with with, is it then? I think it is. Yeah. He wants to talk to one of the FBI agents. We'll get to that in just a second. So Varney and Mallory, they left the office and they're talking. Varney feels like he's going to get fired. And Mallory said, "Oh, no, he won't fire you. He'll kill you." And then, of course, there's a lot of horror right there. But Mallory said, "I'm joking," and all that. Mallory said, "Well, look, you got him out of a bind. I think he's going to be quite grateful with you. Grateful to you, and he will spare you." Of course, Mallory's trying to get Varney to just calm down. She's really like, "Negro, I'm here for you. Like, be cool like that. So just break down your defenses." But Varney's not at that place as of yet. And he's like, "Look, just drop me off here and I'll find another way. Da, 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 da." And she said, "No, absolutely not. You're going to stay in this car. I'm going to keep on talking. Da, 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 da." Now, Agent Paul has been assigned to this case. Agent Paul is an actor that some of us are familiar with if you watched The Haves and Have-Nots back in the day. Remember Candace's not Lick. Well, I forgot the dude's name, but the white dude that Candace was speaking with, who actually stole or took back Jim's money. He was hired by Jim and all of that, and then Candace ended up getting that money back and pushing him over the ledge or whatever, or pushing him from a high roomed hotel. Anyways, he's going to be Agent Paul for this season. He's offering one person a get out of jail free card, one time only. The rest of them are refusing it, but Roy is stepping up to the plate. Norman said, "Look, I don't need any of this. I need you to tell your boss, tell Ray I'm here." Basically, Ray is going to be the one to get him out of jail. So Horace and Kimmy are in the car. And, of course, Horace is still very upset that Varney is smashing his son. And also bothered that Kimmy knew it. And Kimmy's like, and I clocked you too. And what you got going on? But Horace is too busy saying that he's upset with Varney because Varney lied to his face. And he said, anyone that can lie to my face is capable of doing anything. Do I get that part? Yeah. But we know that that is just a cover-up for him to actually have to deal with himself and with homosexuality, bisexuality, or bi-curious, or whatever's going on with him. Kimmy says, "I think you're jealous of Charles." He's like, "What?" "Well, Charles is out and proud. And you didn't get that luxury growing up, or even in the adult world. You're just now trying to play catch up, but much of your youth has been spent elsewhere because you couldn't freely express yourself." But at this point, we didn't know this. They get to the house. Whitman gets out. He opens the door, and we hear this sudden, "Shut the door!" Whitman lets us know via a phone conversation with him and Alex that when he opened the door of I think it's a limo or whatever, he saw Horace and Kimmy smashing. I wasn't going to say the word, but fucking. Anyways, that's quite a surprise, but Kimmy's going to share a little bit more of that, so stay with me. Mallory gets to her home, and it looks like they were repairing her and Roy's home. This dude, who was hired, I guess, through Roy, he hasn't been paid, and he wants his money, and he decided to stay there until he got his money. Mallory calls up Whitman, and first Mallory calls Alex, and he says, "I can't be there right now." Then Alex calls Whitman to say what's going on and get on over to Mallory's. He gets over there and he knows a guy. I think his name was Lee. Was it? Yeah. Whitman's like, "Look, it's not worth it. I'm gonna get your money and all that, da 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 da. But you're gonna have to leave. Boom, he ends up leaving. Um, Back at the main house, Angel, Horace, and Kimmy and Rain. Horace is still not just still, he is pissed at Angel. Angel's like, hey, and Horace has just got this straight flint of a face. There's so much anger. But anyways, both Kimmy and Rain go to the kitchen. Kimmy ends up telling Rain that we got him as far as the Belleries. But at the same time, that it feels very good that we got him, but I'm also feeling uneasy. Rain said, "You're always feeling like you're uneasy. You're always uneasy, basically." Um, Rain said that I'm about to go to the club, and I'm going to be changing the name, and it's going to be called Make It Rain. I said, "Go ahead, girl." Yeah. um, then Kimmy gets into what happened in the limo, and of course they were talking about his sexuality because I think Rain doesn't know about it. But anyways, as far as his sexuality, I was telling him about how jealous he is of Charles. Next thing you know, he went down on me. I said, "Wow, okay, Charles." And then it turned into a real penetration session. I said, "Oh," and she's confused and shocked. And what she's confused and shocked about is that she liked it. But I think I understand why Kimmy likes it. One is from a man that she respects, and someone who didn't force her into anything. He may have put some leadership into what was going on, but she already trusted him and didn't think that he was going to violate her. Of course, it feels great. It feels good to connect with someone that you're already connecting with, but now on this sexual level. And she ain't mad at what she got from him. I said, "Okay, Horace." So basically, he's trying to prove himself as to not being gay. But all you did is just gave Kimmy some of the big O's. But yeah, but I understand why Kimmy feels the way that she feels at this moment. Is it love? I don't know. But at least it was something that she hasn't been able to have. What? The stepfather was messing with her, and then she got put into this never ending ring of having to be this 304 at this gentleman's club. And the first person that she got with at least didn't treat her wrong when they did have sex. So you think that Horace is bisexual or a homosexual? Y'all let me know in the comments. Of course, I already said concerning Angel. Angel's trying to, hey. Horace ain't happening. I think Horace ended up leaving the room or whatnot. Anyways. I already talked about Whitman coming to Mallory's home, blah, 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 blah. Lee was like, "Look, I'm begging you to please pay. I got children at home, and I have a lot of foster children, and I need that money." As far as I know, Mallory didn't really give in. Now, there's a thing that I'm seeing out of this character, and basically it looks kind of kooky. And to me, it seems like she's turning into Veronica Harrington. Do y'all believe that she's got this Veronica Harrington from the Have Nots type of character? Or is it just someone who's had to stay quiet all along and now she can just let out everything that she wanted to let out, from employees to employers, all that good stuff? It's quite interesting. So I'm kind of leaning towards that. It just seems like she's becoming a little bit more, she's becoming more cartoonish. But I think she's just more freely able to express herself. Not that she wasn't able to do it in the magnitude because of how she had to present herself to this family that's given her a wonderful opportunity. That's all I'm saying. All right, so Rain goes to the club. Two gentlemen are there. One is Michael, the other one is Jay, and they are the ones Alex is assigning to Rain. But she says that she don't like them and they're whack. That's just not anything that I want to be attached to. Blah 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 blah. She announces that she's taking over the club, and Jules for the time being, is not around. He's been arrested. There's a new girl in town. She says that, look, I know that you all have racked up a lot of debt, but there is no debt. Well, how much money did they actually borrow? Because they were too busy trying to rob the poor. Like, now that I'm really thinking about it, what kind of loan was it for? I wonder. You know, just my nosy self, just wanting to be on the in and outs of certain things. But yeah, she said no one has a debt like Delinda was trying to put on her, on everyone. Rain just has one rule: make your own money and tip the house. Pretty good. And then next week she's gonna get on my nerve, or with the next episode she's gonna get on my nerves. But it is what it is. Are you guys happy that the show is back? Hopefully you are. Do you have any favorite characters? I mean, mine right now is Kimmy. Yeah, that's all I gotta say there. It's like I do want to like Charles, but I hate how he dealt with Barney. I'll say that much. But anyways, y'all let me know what you thought. Stay tuned for episode 2, and for this weekend, we're gonna be riding this wave with binging and reviewing. Come back to my channel. Hopefully you're watching, and as far as on Netflix, I thank you for your support. Like, comment, subscribe, and until the next one, peace.